I'm now with Robert Blakemore on the Carless Classic Fuels Stand. Good morning, Robert, and welcome to Race Retro 2025.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, can we start off with a little bit of a history on this car?
Absolutely. So this is one of the original works cars built by Aston Martin. After Bertelli bought the company, he set up a race program. This is chassis number LM2. Cars LM1 and LM2 were the first cars Aston Martin raced at Le Mans, and this took part in 1928. It then went on to compete in the Double 12 at Brooklands before being sold after a stint as a works demonstrator.
So it's got a good history then?
Very good history, absolutely.
So have you driven it?
I have, yes. I've not competed in it, but I have driven it as part of testing, and I drove it to Aston Martin's current factory last summer as a part of an event with them.
Can you give me a little specification on the car?
Yes, it is. It's got a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder dry sump engine, producing in period about 55 horsepower. Currently, we've uprated that, and it's about 85 now. It is 4-speed crash gearbox with a worm and wheel back axle, which was an Aston Martin designed unit. It is currently capable of about 100 miles an hour and quite light at about 700 kilos.
So is it eligible for the John Horsfall Trophy meeting?
Not only eligible, but a couple of years ago it won it. So it had an amazing trip. The owner drove it from Belfast, where he lives, all the way to Mantova in northern Italy. He then took part in a 1,100 kilometre rally around Italy called the Nuvolari, and then he drove it all the way back to our workshops in Olney. We had it for about 4 days. We serviced it, prepped it, drove it to Silverstone, and we handed it over to Richard Bradley. Richard won Le Mans in 2015 in LMP2, and Richard put it on pole and then came second overall, winning the Horsfall race. Yep.
Brilliant, what an event.
Absolutely. So it's still, as you can tell, being very actively used. The owner's also done things like he's driven it to Switzerland to do the Bernina Hill climb. So yeah, very, very widely used car.
I know you said you haven't raced it, but can you tell me how it handles?
Yeah, the handling on pre-war Astons is really their strength. Yeah. Braking and handling is where they score very well. The engines are more designed for long distance rather than any particular outright speed or acceleration. But the trick to racing one of these is momentum. Yeah. So late braking and carrying the speed through the corners. So they naturally slightly understeer, but with the throttle you can get oversteer. Yeah. So the technique is to just gently slide them to the apex and then
from understeer to oversteer, get them to oversteer slightly.
Yeah, just manage that into just the beginnings of a four-wheel drift. So I raced a later car, a 1936 car, and through the Porsche curves at Le Mans, for example, we're doing about 85 miles an hour through the Porsche curves. So the handling is key.
So do you know a little bit about the Carless Classic Fuels at all? Yeah,
so Carless is a very old company. It was founded in the 1800s and they distilled oil into various products, and they were approached by Gottlieb Daimler when he had his very new internal combustion engine, and they created a spirit which they called petrol, which they supplied. They also supplied the very first London to Brighton, the Emancipation Run with fuel. They also supplied the first 1,000-mile trial in the UK, organised by the Royal Automobile Club. And they still have a refinery in Harwich where they manufacture a range of products, including race fuels. They're also a global brand. They've got refineries in, I think, Germany and the US. And we're very interested in working with them because they supply sustainable fuel, which is either 70 or 100% renewable from bio products that cannot be reused in the food chain.
Yeah, this is what you've got to do now, haven't you? This is the forward-looking thing, isn't it?
Well, I think as a society, if we actually want to reduce carbon emissions, and I think that's a good thing, then we should be looking at all technologies to do that. And so if you've got a car like this or any internal combustion engine, the simplest thing is to put renewable fuel in it.
I always remember, I mean, I had a little Sprite years ago, and we were all getting a bit worried about when they were going to get rid of leadless fuel.
Yeah.
That seems a long time ago.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the fuel that Carless make is ethanol free, so it does no damage to the sensitive components. We've dyno tested it, and it produces, in these engines, about 2% more power and torque.
Really?
It's totally compatible with any other traditional fuels. You can mix it, you can tip it in, and we do nothing special to the car engines at all. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Well, thanks very much for that, and I hope the show goes well for you. Has it been good, the show, for you?
Absolutely, very good, very good. Yeah, we met some regular customers and some new people as well. So very good.
At least it went ahead this year, not like last year.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. No, very good. Very good.
Well, thanks so much, John. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's great. That's great.